channel. It's your girl, Phylly. I'm still here. How y'all doing? Thank you for joining me. I surely do appreciate it. Welcome everybody that is in the chat. Miss Lorraine was here. How you doing? What's going on, boss lady? Will Davidson, Valerie. Hello, Valerie. Brenda. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in, everybody. Berta Young, how you doing, Berta? Simply Red is in the building. Good afternoon, Miss Latoya. Okay, it's nighttime now, honey. We're doing one of them late night lives like we used to do. Life with no possibility of parole. Tim, the chat has spoken, Tim. You took Dre from us. You gotta go. You gotta go. I pray so, but it's hard to tell. Consider what Javale, Tarek, and Wally received. But you know, those three, him, he's the one that he's the one that funded the entire thing. These over here, you know, especially the one way back yonder, Wally, he was the paperwork man, okay? He still haven't even turned himself in yet. He just roaming around like whatever. Hello, his MJ 2017. How you doing? Golden Star, welcome. Okay, guys. So I'm going to be dropping a video that I did. It was from last year. We're going to watch some of it tonight, but I'm going to be dropping it. It's a re-upload. I had to edit it and take a lot of stuff out because, you know, things change. You know, your girl, I took one for the team. So I had to edit the video real good, you know, so you guys watch it again. That's what I'm gonna drop. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna re-edit every video I ever did, and I'm gonna drop it again because I can. Hello, Munda. Thank you for coming back, Miss Annie. How you doing, Miss Annie in the building? Gail, good evening, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day from Lanham, Maryland. Is that close to Baltimore? Is that close to the DMV? Boss Lady is in the building. Spikey is in the building. What's up, Spikey? Spike is in the Chi-Town in the house. My Chi-Town people. Shout out to my brother Dave that was in town this weekend from Chicago. I happened to be out of town with my daughter Ashley up in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. But Dave was in town, my brother Dave. King David is what my daddy called him. So we didn't get to see each other, but he called me. Okay. Yes, he did. That's my baby brother. Okay. He probably watching. You know, they all be watching. Show Nuff. What's up, Show Nuff? How you doing? Thank you for stopping by. MTGB Crime Podcast. Well, am I subscribed to you? I like the name of your channel, child. Let me see here. Oh, goodness. Go to channel. Oh, let me hit the subscribe button. I was not subscribed. I apologize. Let me I want all notifications. I want to be notified every time. If you go to the bathroom, I want to be notified. Oh, you doing stories on Shanquella? Okay. Yes, honey. Okay. I'm going to have to check this. I just want to know how far would you... Oops. I didn't mean to do all that. Okay. Y'all check out her channel. Check out... I don't know if it's a me, he, or a me. His or her. Check out the channel. That's all I got to say. Thanks for linking up. Okay, guys. We finna get ready to get started here in a few minutes. I'll be right back. You guys can't hear. You couldn't hear nothing I was saying, could you? Y'all couldn't hear a thing I was saying. Now you can hear me. I was just running my mouth. All I said, though, only thing I said is we was about to get started, and we're gonna listen to some of the greatest of. Well, we're gonna listen. We're gonna start off with one of the We're gonna go back into time. We're gonna go back into time. Let me see if I can find it. I thought I had it on here. Is this it? No, that's not it. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is it right here. So we're gonna start off with this one right here, guys. So just listen up, and we'll go from there. Okay?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Thank you for hitting the panel. What would you like to say?
Yeah, first I want to let you know I really enjoy your show. I just subbed to you maybe 2, 3 weeks ago, and I've been following your show and all of your previous shows while I'm driving trucks. It gives me something to listen to. But I was infuriated with callers a few days ago where they tried to tarnish this dead young boy's name, and I say boy because to me he could be a son of mine. So I was just evil, and I wanted to pull my truck over, and I'm gonna try to hold my tongue the best way I possibly can, and trying to blame this boy who cannot defend himself for what Tim and that girl and that other guy did, but especially Tim. My thing is this: no matter what he did when he died, it was where he was at when he died. Not what he did in his past, is where he was at. He was trying to make something out of his life. He was trying to do good by himself and by his mama. And I want to say something to his mom, and I know she's listening from through her brother. She don't have to worry about defending his name because we got him, and we are going to defend his name for her, because right now that woman is hurting, concerned about Michelle. She is the only one I'm really concerned about. Nobody is saying nothing regarding this dead young man's on his name. They're trying to ruin his name. I'm gonna tell you a short story right quick. I came up during a time when my grandmother had 9 or 10 kids, and when her boys did something bad, she would tell people on the streets, he did it, that's right. She would send her children to jail herself. I remember years ago when we were teenagers and one of her sons came up to the door and he got out of jail and he started using drugs. And she told him, did not tell you you're not welcome here? She said, did not tell you you're not welcome. Until you clean yourself up, you can't come here. He said, but Mama, I'm just hungry. She said, stay right here. It was like 99 degrees outside on a hot porch. She went inside, made him 2 bologna sandwiches, put it on a paper plate, got an old mayonnaise jar with ice water, gave it to him, and told him he got to leave from in front of her door. Until he cleaned himself up, he's not welcome at her home. See, I grew up in a house like that where a grandmother was 80-something years, 60-something years old, almost 70 at that time. She didn't take nothing off our kids. When they did something, she acknowledged it. And when they did something and the police was looking for them, she sent them to jail. And she didn't care how they took it. And at my grandmother's funeral, that same son brought up that same story and says, till that day, he loved her for turning him away and not upholding his BS. Because when you're wrong, you're wrong. Because the dude.
You guys, can you all hear the audio? Can you all hear the audio? I want to double check and make sure that you guys can hear the audio. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear Sean talking. I think you can. I had it messed up earlier, but I have it now. Okay, y'all can hear. Okay. Let's continue with my buddy Sean.
Is a psychopath, allegedly. He's a psychopath, and nobody's not talking about that. He has no feelings and no emotion. Who gets arrested for murdering, for being told that he helped murder his nephew, and as soon as he take his mugshot, he has a big smile on his face? Tim is an insane psychopath, and nobody's not talking about that. I think that's something that needs to be investigated too. But Phil, keep doing your job, and I'm gonna keep listening, and I'm gonna go back in the bushes. But I just want to let you know you're doing a wonderful job on this show, and I just hope you keep up with this story so we could call in. Thank you.
Yes, please, and please keep calling in. Thank you so much, Sean. Okay, that was a oldie but a goodie. That was Mr. Sean from back in the day. Oh, we have a baby. We got a whole catalog. Okay, we got a whole I got all y'all calls from when y'all was calling me back in the day. Okay, what we're gonna do now though? Tim is about to be sentenced. So this is what we're doing. We're leading up to the sentencing, which is, I think it's Friday. I think the sentencing will be Friday to start off his weekend. I need to find, hold on guys. And these people right here, those are the 4. And when I made this picture, I put Dre looking down at them smiling. Like, yeah, y'all thought y'all got away, but we got you. That's why I did it like that. That's why it looks like that, guys. So you guys hold on for a second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the there's been some documents filed. I've been so busy I hadn't had a chance to show you guys all of the most recent documents, but we're going to go over. Okay. And I've done this before. If you go back and listen to the videos, it's called a pre-sentencing. The judge gets like a catalog, a history of all the bad things and good things that you've done, a pre-sentencing report. So Tim filed an objection to the pre-sentencing report. We're going to see why he objected to it. And then we're going to see what the prosecutor said. You know I got all the receipts over here. Don't play with me. Okay, let's go. Let me find it up here. Oh my goodness. I got so many things open up here, honey. Wait a minute, y'all. Okay, I know y'all can see it, but I can't find the window over here. One second, guys. I'm having some technical difficulties. Okay, hold on. Okay, guys, I'm still having a few technical difficulties, but the show must go on. This was Tim and his attorney's objection to the pre-sentencing report. They didn't like what was in it. Okay. But for some reason, I am having trouble. Oh my goodness, y'all. This is not good. I have so many things open over here. I cannot find what I'm looking for. Let me see here. Bear with me, people. Bear with me, okay? I thought I had it, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. Then I'm going to try to do this again. Maybe I have too many. Maybe I have too many windows open, guys. You know, sometimes you have technical difficulties. This is one of those days. This is one of those days. And it's right there. Okay, let me see if I can find it, guys. Wait a minute, we're gonna get there. At least I think we are. Okay. I think I have it, finally. I think I have it, guys. And hopefully you all can hear me. All right. So Tim and his attorneys objected to the pre-sentencing report. Now, the pre-sentencing report, the judge gets a history of all the things you've done, all the crimes you've committed, good deeds, bad deeds. He gets a history of it so that he can have that in front of him when he decides to make when he gives you the verdict, when he gives you your sentencing. So Tim was objecting to some of the things in there. So let's just see what he was objecting to, okay? Here we go. It says, comes now the U.S. of America by and through its, wait a minute. This is the right one. United States, this is the response. That's still not what I wanted. When I tell you the devil is a lie, but the devil will not win tonight. No, 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 no. I need to look at Tim's first, guys. Wait a minute. Hold on, y'all. 216. I think this might be it. Okay, this is it. Oh my goodness, this took forever. All right, I apologize, y'all. I truly do. I truly do apologize. And then I just lost it. Is that it? Defendant's objection. Okay, This is it. Woo! Filed on 2/16 of 23. It's so many damn documents because Tim been fighting this for so long, child. Please. Oh my goodness. It says the United States of America versus James Timothy Norton. At least I got the freaking documents, but I don't see it up here in my other screen. Defendant Norman's objections to the PSR. PSR is pre-sentencing report. Pre-sentencing report, PSR. Defendant James Timothy Norman, by and through his attorneys, okay, respectfully submits the following objections. He objects to, Mr. Norman objects to page 3. Now, let me say this. I can't actually get the pre-sentencing report. They don't allow the public to actually see that, okay? Just so you know, that's the only reason I'm not showing it. It says identifying data under education 11th grade GED as an incomplete answer. The report states that Mr. Norman only has a GED. The PSR correctly lists on page 18, paragraphs 63 through 69, the correct educational completion of Mr. Norman, which includes college level credits. Therefore, under education, it should say 11th grade and some college. So he has some college. He wanted it to be known that he did obtain his GED because remember, Tim went to prison when he was 17. Okay. So he didn't get to graduate high school and walk across the stage like Dre, which I think he was a little envious of. I do. Okay. Mr. Norman objects to page 5, paragraph 10, as Miss Ellis being characterized as a romantic partner. Tim had a problem with Terica being considered as his romantic partner. Hey, Kenzie. Hey, Miss Lorraine. It says there is nothing in the trial record, discovery, or pre-trial discussion that support Miss Ellis and Mr. Norman ever having been in a relationship. You see how the men will dump you so quick? See how they do it, y'all? It says, therefore, the PSR should reflect the true nature of their relationship, which was one in which Mr. Norman paid Miss Ellis for sex. S-E-X. Mr. Norman objects to page 5, paragraph 12, which starts with, beginning in or about October 2014, Norman, with the assistance of Yogman, submitted 5 life insurance policies on AM, wherein he was named the sole beneficiary as detailed below, and continued through 13, 14, all those numbers. Mr. Norman objects to this narrative as the allegations contained in the PSR. Remember, PSR is pre-sentence report, were not sustained at trial. Each of the following government witnesses from the respective insurance companies testified that he or she could not prove or disprove whether Mr. Norman was present during the execution of those policies with Yogman. But you know what? We looked at a text message last night where you text you, Wally, and said, hey, bro, I need an insurance policy on my nephew. So we know you knew about it. You're just a liar. Furthermore, the government could not refute Mr. Norman's testimony that he did not authorize or have knowledge of other policies, including the fact that his own name, social security number, and address were incorrectly listed on the form submitted. Lastly, the government conceded that Mr. Norman did not send any policies or applications directly to the insurance company, and that Mr. Yogman did. Yogman pled guilty to that conduct in this case. Therefore, the PSR should be corrected to show that Mr. Norman authorized only the October the 14th, 2014 Americo policy as reflected in the trial transcripts. Tim, what about you giving Terica $10,000 to go to the hotel where Dre was staying and then go to 3964 Natural Bridge? What about that? Mr. Norman objects to the recitation of the government's narrative, in this case, as fact in the PSR under page 8, paragraph 19 through 23, and page 9, paragraph 25. There is no nexus between the facts alleged in the trial record and the conduct that is described in the PSR. The PSR, hold on, I'm going the wrong way. The PSR also does not cite to any specific witness testimony, and it contradicts the evidence presented at trial. Furthermore, the trial record speaks for itself and should be reflected accordingly. Mr. Norman objects to page 10. He objected to everything. Paragraph 30 and page 11, paragraph 38, for the reasons stated below in his objections to the guidelines calculations. Mr. Norman objects to page 12, paragraph 46 as incomplete. Mr. Norman accepted responsibility for his conduct and pled guilty to all counts. This acceptance of responsibility is not reflected in the narrative, nor is mentioned that Mr. Norman used his time while incarcerated for purposes of rehabilitation. Well, if you were rehabilitated, why did you put a hit out on Dre, my ninja? All right, Mr. Norman objects to page 15, paragraph 53 as incomplete. Mr. Norman shares a child with the complaining witness, J.A. And the start of the altercation arose out of J.A. breaking Mr. Norman's car window with a crowbar. The complaining witness also desires to dismiss the complaint against Mr. Norman. Therefore, the PSR should include this information in paragraph 53. Janae, you know that was Janae, right? Janae. You know, Tim said Janae used to get crazy and want to just fight and do all kind of stuff. Okay. Mr. Norman objects to page 17, paragraph 60 as incomplete. Mr. Norman is currently under the care of a physician for arthritis in his back, knees, and feet, and is prescribed medication for the condition. Mr. Norman also requires specialized orthopedic shoes for his feet and wears corrective lenses. Therefore, the PSR should include this information in paragraph 60. Objections to sentencing guidelines calculation. Mr. Norman objects to the PSR improper 2-level increase to the offense level based upon Mr. Norman's alleged obstruction of justice. Mr. Norman objects to the PSR's 2-level increase to the offense level pursuant to United States, I guess, whatever, based upon purported obstruction of justice. Accordingly, Mr. Norman objects to the PSR at page 10, paragraph. Somebody say we don't care about his bad feet. Wait, I can't. Oh my goodness. I need to find my. This computer is tripping tonight, y'all. I can't go to the comments because if I go to the comments, this computer is tripping. More specifically, in support of that 2-level enhancement of the offense level, the PSR contends that Mr. Norman obstructed justice as follows. The defendant willfully obstructed or impeded or attempted to obstruct or impede the administration of justice. During the trial, the defendant testified under oath in direct conflict with the government's witness and the verdict. Therefore, the defendant willfully obstructed the administration of justice with respect to the investigation and the prosecution of the instant offense of conviction, and the obstructive conduct is related to the defendant's offense and conviction and relevant conduct. As such, a 2-level increase in the offense level pursuant is applicable. All right. 10 paragraph 30, emphasis added is what they said. They want you to add some emphasis, honey. I don't know where my doggone thing is right now. If I move this, I think it's going to it says, as an initial matter, the PSR pre-sentence report, for those of you who are just joining, PSR is pre-sentence report. As an initial matter, the PSR's contention that Mr. Norman obstructed justice with respect to the investigation of this case by way of his trial testimony makes no sense. In any event, the PSR offers absolutely no support for the conclusion, including any reference whatsoever to any trial testimony that allegedly supports that conclusion. In addition, the respect to the PSR additional conclusion that Mr. Norman's trial testimony supports an increase in the offense level because it was purportedly in direct conflict with the government's witness. Hey, Alice, how you doing? Witnesses and the verdict similarly misses the mark. The PSR once again fails to cite to any specific testimony that was false and willfully so. Thus, the PSR not only fails to provide any specific to support this upward adjustment, it appears to misunderstand the applicable standard. In short, the issue is not whether Mr. Norman's testimony differed in some unspecified way from the testimony of some unidentified government witness. Rather, the issue is whether Mr. Norman's testimony was materially and willfully false. Basically, it was a lie. And they cited U.S. versus Odell. Okay, y'all see my right there. The PS fails to identify any testimony that supports or allows for such a conclusion. See also application note 2 to paragraph 3 of the guidelines added. Now, this is Tim's response. We're going to get to the prosecutions, okay? The provision is not intended to punish a defendant for the exercise of a constitutional right. A defendant's denial of guilt other than a denial of guilt under oath or that a defendant's denial of guilt other than a denial of guilt under oath that constitutes perjury, refusal to admit guilt or provide information to a probation officer, or refusal to enter a plea of guilty is not a basis for application of this provision. The court should be cognizant that inaccurate testimony or statement sometimes may result from confusion, mistake, or faulty memory, and thus not all inaccurate testimony or statements necessarily reflect a willful attempt to obstruct justice. This is Tim's people, okay? You know what? I'm going to have to come over here for a minute, and I hope I'll be able to find that document. But what I'm going to do is do this real quick for the one time. Well, I'll just play some music. You guys just hold on real quick, okay? Okay, I saw a comment a few minutes ago fly by. They said Juanitra Allen. You know what? That JA, that could be Juanitra. Huh. Because Tim was pissing her off too. But y'all know what? I cannot find. Wait a minute, y'all. Tell you I'm having technical difficulties. I don't understand what's going on over here. Let me see if I can find. Oh well. We're gonna go with this. I think this was it right here. It says, okay. Let me make. Can you guys hear me? I hope you all can hear me. Put a 1 in the chat. Hey, Boots. Davine. Hey, Davine. How you doing? Kids, can y'all hear me? Okay. Likewise, the PSR pre-sentence report errs. ERRS, errs. That means it errors. That means it's wrong. It's made a mistake. They're using those attorney words, okay? By concluding that because the verdict was purportedly contrary to some unidentified portion of Mr. Norman's testimony, that alone establishes that some identified portion of his testimony was materially and willfully false. You know he got up there and lied, allegedly. The sentencing cannot give the upward departure simply because the defendant testifies on his own behalf and the jury disbelieves him. And they citing U.S. Washington. Okay, they're giving you some cases there. It says, but again, the PSR fails to identify what portion of Mr. Norman's testimony it relies upon, but seemingly concludes that because the jury found against him, he must have committed perjury and thus obstructed justice. What did you? All right, we're going to keep reading. For all of those reasons, Mr. Norman objects to this second level increase in the offense to the offense level and these portions of the PSR. Mr. Norman objects to the PSR's improper assessment of 6 points for purposes of the calculation of his criminal history calculation. Because see, this judge, the reason he's objecting, guys, if you're just joining me, the judge is receiving this PSR pre-sentence report and he's going to use it to make his final decision when he decides to sentence him. Okay. All right, Mr. Norman objects to PSR at pages 11 through 13 at paragraph 45 and 46. The PSR asserts that Mr. Norman's 1996 and 1997 convictions, while he was a juvenile, each require the assessment of 3 criminal history points. Points matter, okay? Thank you, Davine. Mr. Norman should receive 0 criminal history points for each of those cases. Tim trying not to get life without parole. Somebody gave me life. Here, those cases are respectively from 27 and 26 years ago. Now, Tim went to prison over 27, 26 years ago and ended right back up locked up because you came out and you decided you wanted to have your nephew's life taken. Ninja, we didn't forget. You thought we forgot. The application notes to paragraph 4 established that Mr. Norman could be assessed these 6 criminal history points, but just barely. Here are the sentences previously imposed upon Mr. Norman. 96 and 97 are clearly more than 15 years prior to the defendant's commencement of the instant offense, and therefore would not normally be counted. However, somebody said a career criminal. However, because Mr. Norman's period of incarceration of those old 1996 and 1997 offenses extended into this 15-year period into 2004, he can be assessed criminal history points for those convictions. However, those old 96 and 97 convictions should not be counted because by way of their inclusion, Mr. Norman's criminal history and criminal history category is substantially overstated. And it tells you to go look at that case. Court may depart downward from the suggested guidelines range where the defendant's criminal history points and or criminal history category are overstated based on the inclusion of certain prior offenses and thus overrepresent the seriousness of his past criminal conduct. Hey, the Jackie 2006 Mariah Lynn. This is true. Wait a minute, what did I leave off at? Mr. Norman's offenses. Downward departure of the guidelines warranted, especially where the guidelines range dramatically increases due to acts committed while a juvenile. He was 17 when he went to prison, guys, the first time. Remember, we reported that he robbed a McDonald's in the drive-thru on a bicycle. Additionally, with respect to those decades-old offenses, Mr. Norman objects to the information contained in the summary of his alleged conduct while incarcerated for that 96 conviction, which reads as follows. Norman incurred violations for gambling, assault, minor assault, fighting, 2 violations, out of bounds, contraband, disobeying an order, and creating a disturbance. Norman was employed in food handling, janitorial services, landscaping, and building maintenance. That information is entirely irrelevant and prejudicial and has nothing whatsoever to do with whether 3 criminal history points should or should not be assessed. Therefore, Mr. Norman objects to those facts and to their reference or inclusion within the PSR. Similarly, Mr. Norman objects to the irrelevant and prejudicial facts relating to his incarceration for his 1997 conviction, which reads as follows. The defendant's adjustment to incarceration is summarized under docket number, there you go. In addition, the defendant incurred violations for contraband, creating a disturbance and cause serious injuries to another. Oh, you did all that, Tim? Norman was employed as a legal book clerk, according to MBPP records, while on supervision. The defendant incurred a violation for incurring a new laws violation. That information is entirely irrelevant and prejudicial and has nothing whatsoever to do with whether 3 criminal history points should or should not be assessed. Therefore, Mr. Norman objects to those facts and to their reference or inclusion within the PSR. Based upon all of the foregoing, Mr. Norman objects to the summation calculation of Mr. Norman's criminal history points and criminal history category of 3 set forth page 15 of the PSR at paragraphs blah, blah, blah. It says, because these paragraphs of the PSR do not present any new information in support of Mr. Norman incorporates by reference, as though fully set forth herein, the arguments that has already set forth above with regard to the PSR pre-sentence report. Okay. Errors with respect to the criminal history points, criminal history category, and guidelines. Simply read, I know it may be irrelevant to us, but the judge, the defendants have a right. They have to, the judge, they require a pre-sentence report, which details all of the things someone may have done bad in their life. Okay. And the judge is going to take that under consideration. And so what Tim is doing, he's objecting to some things that was in that report because he don't want the judge to hold that against him. Mr. Norman objects to the PSR's claim that Mr. Norman's criminal history calculation substantially underreports the seriousness of Mr. Norman's criminal history. So he objects that, you know what, we know what Tim did. We know. The PSR reaches the unsupported conclusion that Mr. Norman's criminal history category actually underrepresents the seriousness of his criminal history. For the reasons set forth, the conclusion is entirely baseless. Indeed, if anything, Mr. Norman's criminal history is overstated. He did not have any convictions prior to this case for more than 25 years. And then those decade-old convictions were from a time period where he was a juvenile. Thus, for the PSR to now claim that his criminal history is underrepresented is without foundation. Well, if he didn't do anything for 25 years, what would make him put a hit out on his own nephew? I want to know. I'm asking for other people. Objections to special conditions of supervised release. Because they're saying if he is released, they want him to be supervised. Come on, somebody. The PSR recommends that a special condition of supervised release be applied to Mr. Norman. The PSR claims that based upon the nature of the offense for which Mr. Norman has been convicted, he should be subjected to essentially random searches by U.S. probation of anything, ranging from his papers to his car to his computer. This special condition is nonsensical and without basis. To allow these types of warrantless and baseless searches would deny Mr. Norman due process and violate his Fourth Amendment rights. The imposition of such a special condition also turns U.S. probation into an untrained and unqualified branch of law enforcement. Moreover, there is nothing about the underlying offense for which Mr. Norman was charged or convicted that could possibly warrant these types of baseless intrusions into his right to be free from unnecessary searches and seizures. Under the PSR's logic, anyone who is convicted of any federal criminal offense should be subjected to these types of baseless searches because any defendant is theoretically capable of engaging in the same offense conduct in the future. In so finding, the U.S. probation apparently has even wrongly concluded that Mr. Norman has been convicted of identity theft in the present case. Wherefore, defendant James Timothy Norman, by and through his attorneys, respectfully submits that he should be given a sentence that is equal to that given by this court to his co-defendant Travell Hill. He wants to be sentenced like Travell, y'all. Well, ain't that something? He wants the same type of sentence equally that like Travell got. Hold on, let me do this. Well, that was a lot of reading, honey. So pretty much Tim is saying, hey, if you're gonna give me any time, I don't need to get no more time than 32 years. Now, I wanted to play. I had so much stuff. We've been going an hour and 2 minutes. We're gonna go a little longer tonight. We're gonna go a little longer tonight. We're gonna go a little longer tonight. Hold on, guys. Okay, let's listen to a little bit of this video right here. This is an oldie, but a goodie. All right, let's listen. Here's one of all right, we already got one. Yes, Vegas. Welcome, Vegas. How you doing?
All right, and yourself?
I'm good. All right, we got one of our panelists has already joined me. Now, there's a few things that I want to address before we get started, me and the panel, okay? And I know someone else is supposed to join as well from St. Louis. Okay, St. Louis, don't let me down, St. Louis, to show me stakes, show up and show out, Missouri. Come on now, y'all need to come through. I watched season 1, episode 3 that told a lot about them two gang up or ride out with each other. Yeah, they do. Vegas.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining once again. What I want to do, I want to put up a few things, a couple of comments that people have been leaving, and you and I can analyze these together if you like. First, this one right here says, she said, Andre's not innocent, but I can tell you one thing. I highly doubt Andre would have put himself in a situation that Tim is in right now. This is in reference to the lady who called me just going in on Andre that night, saying, you know, how we should look into his background, look into his siblings and mother and things like that. Well, this lady, I think, made a good point, saying she would not be where, you know, Andre would not have put himself in a position that Tim has put himself in after doing 10 and a half years in prison, getting out, and now look what he's done. So I totally agree with your comment. What do you have anything to say about that, Vegas?
Yes. You know, we look at the little small things that Andre may have done, and we all make mistakes in life, but that has nothing, when you really look at the scheme of things, has nothing to do with, in reference to, he will put himself in a situation to want to steal something that magnitude to change your life. And as I said again, if the young man would have done it, he's going to show it. He's going to show, he's going to buy something new. His lifestyle would have changed, his clothing, his cars or jewelries. Young kids is into stuff like that. And that just because he made one mistake doesn't mean that, oh, Andre is a bad villain, so it doesn't make any sense to me.
Absolutely. I agree. I totally agree with that. Okay, let me get back over here. There's another one. I wanted to just show this here. Justice, even if it's slow, it is sure. Because let me tell you, they took Andre away from us in 2016. There was not an arrest made until 2020. And I know some people may have given up on it. You know, may have thought, oh, it's just I'm sure that the perpetrators thought, oh, they just think this is another part of the natural bridge crime rate, black on black crime. But justice, even if it's slow, is sure. It will eventually catch up with you. I truly believe that. What do you think, Mr. Vegas?
I believe the same thing. I believe that it takes time for things to transpire and happen. And that I think that because St. Louis, Chicago, a lot of Midwest, like the East Coast, has a lot of black on black crime. I think that they thought that this would be swept underneath the rug as a black on black crime. That's what I think, personally.
Right. I do. They thought they was gonna just, have it blend in and say just a part of, hey, black on black crime, but not true. Okay, we have someone else coming on. Hello there.
Hi, how you doing?
I am doing fine. Are you from St. Louis?
Yes, I am.
Okay, well, welcome to the channel, Miss D. Thank you for joining. I believe this is the person that I spoke to earlier that was going to join me, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, you know what? I know you. I don't want to hold you up, so I'm going to go ahead and let you go ahead and say what you want to say. Have the floor.
Well, yesterday when I
Uh-huh.
talked with you, I went and binged on your show all night long, all
Thank
day long, so I could catch up. Okay. And everything was so detailed that my whole opinion has changed.
you. All right.
Okay. I don't know what possessed him or them other two people to get involved into something like that, and especially that young lady. I feel that Tim should have just went on and bottled down and told what happened and stopped all his drama. And for him to go about that, he hadn't done nothing and pretended at the funeral and all of that mess, that was just totally ridiculous. Even the activity of the young lady on your video, all on the video, talking about, how scared she was for her and her family. And I'm saying to myself, but how scared do you really think Andre was? You know, and how would you have felt when that person evaded you in your, space, if one of them had hurt one of your children right there before your eyes, and it was nothing you could do about it? And it really bothered me that she was a mother and could set somebody else's child up like that. And I saw the video of the graduation, and I never really took a good look at that. And I saw his mother and the joy on her face of watching her baby walk down that stage, you know. And I do have one problem though. As a mother, I felt certain things when my son died. And before my phone ever rung, I knew something was wrong, you know. And when you feel like that, you automatically go into a prayer mode. Because I know people that knew Tim when he was in jail. And Tim got money, you know, and in jail, they spend money, for like protection or to be the big man on campus. And, so he did get that kind of money, but it wasn't like he could just pay people, to do things for him. They basically switch up for like commissary, give me some of your phone minutes. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. One of your videos, you show the transcript of when he was locked up and incarcerated at the Eastern Correctional Center. If I'm wrong saying that, correct me, but I think this is what I saw.
You're right.
And Eastern Correctional Center in Missouri is out by Six Flags, and they used to house nothing but sexual offenders that were coming home. Okay. It was always a level 1 camp. It's still not a high level camp. It's a camp that people go to now that's coming home that can make parole or is non-violent in jail.
Okay.
Okay. And that year that Tim was there, he never should have been there because it was a level 1 camp because of the crime that he had committed. Okay. So he was considered a violent offender.
Right.
Okay. Second of all, he's been charged with this. The FBI has this case. They have truly made sure all their I's were dotted and their T's was crossed before they ever issued a warrant and even let anybody know that they were charging him. Okay. The FBI, they gonna have so much stuff, DNA, text messages. See, people are just downright stupid because you get a life insurance policy on your nephew and you don't know his weight, you don't know his height. $200,000. You paid the girl 10, you paid the young man 5. What did you pay the man that actually took out the policy?
Allegedly, I heard that he may have paid him $10,000. And let me address something real quick. That policy, I've heard some talk around YouTube that Tim had a right to get a policy on that child, his nephew. He did not have a right to get a policy.
You know what? Legally.
Well, lie about it, pretend to be his father, pretend that he's making $100,000 a year. No, I disagree with that. And I think Vegas, I think you had agreed, you disagreed with it as well because you made a
I do. I really disagree with it because, first of all, this is why I'm saying he's stupid. He didn't have to lie. Andre was still underage. Underage children, you can take a policy out on them, like a Gerber Life. If you got a baby in your house and that's your niece or nephew, you can take that Gerber Life policy. But again, I'm going to reiterate what I said to you yesterday. I still don't understand how they got that policy, because when they gave my family their policies, they weren't even adults. They did urine analysis. They took a urine test. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. They were in high school. You understand? So a policy that large, hell, I want to know where that company at. You know, and this is another thing, and show you that he was stupid. He could have left the policy in force for so many years, and he could have pulled the interest off of it and used it as collateral.
Well,
just stupid.
In the video I had earlier, he was upset, and he told the insurance agent Wally that he may not make it much longer. He's not going to be around much longer. So Tim was just, in my opinion, and those are his words. He texted those words, so I'm not making it up. I mean, you can say allegedly, but he actually texted that and said Dre wouldn't be around much longer.
And I agree with Chef. I really do. I agree with Chef. They all should have got charged with it. I heard Chef say they're only going to, I think Chef said, I don't want to quote him wrong, that the other guy that actually sold the policy, they're only going to get him on a fraud case. He should have been charged with murder too. Because it was all plotted. It was all premeditated.
It was. And let me tell you, we had someone on, I think she was an attorney. She broke it down. And I think Vegas did as well. That Wally is going, he could possibly get 25 years because, he did some really fraudulent stuff with those insurance documents. He lied all kinds of ways. And he could have alerted the feds, the local police, or someone about what Tim was trying to do and put a halt to all of this had he wanted to do that. And he chose not to do it.
Exactly.
You said that you knew someone that was incarcerated with Tim. Can you tell us what type of a personality Tim had when he was locked up, if you know what you were told?
Yeah, I heard that, he tried to keep a low profile, but he would bully some people, but he also got bullied too.
He did? He got bullied? In what
Yes. Because, and I said this, but he was so big, I can't see anybody bullying him. He say them be the ones that get bullied. Okay? Because they talk too much. But he said he's going to call you. I gave him the number.
Okay, yeah, you did tell me. So is he still, and he's still incarcerated, right?
Yeah.
Now, and he'll be able to call me. Well, I'm surely going to take his call if he does call.
Well, things, and this is what he said this too. He said now they have changed the rules in the correctional centers. Now you can only get money, through Securus, and they'll only allow you to send $300. So it was that he was getting like $1,000 a month. You know what I'm saying? Okay, but that's just coming from somebody that's incarcerated. You don't understand what I'm saying? So when he gets to call you, it will come through as a 1-800 number. Okay, and it'll say Securus.
Okay.
And it's not a collect call. So all you have to do is the one, and it'll come on in. You don't have to set up no account to accept it or any of that.
Okay.
And he made a lot of promises to people that when he got out, that, I'm going to see to you, brother. I'm going to see to you, brother. He said, and he never got in touch with anybody.
Oh, really? Well, he hired a lot of people that were former, ex-felons or
those people, yes, they are ex-felons, but a few of them people might have been in jail with him. But this is what I was told, because him and this person was supposed to be close. Okay. Mm-hmm. And he is known to be, one of them people that take younger guys up under his wing, so they don't get off into the wrong thing. Okay, because he teaches and all of that in the in the institution. Okay, and also they were saying that Tim used to even get things that he shouldn't even got off from through the guards off the street.
I guess. Like what? Do you know like what?
No, because the conversation is being taped. Okay, when you're talking to them from a correctional center, it's being taped. So a person is only going to give you so much information, and sometimes they try to talk in code and let you figure it out themselves. You understand what I'm saying? Figure it out for yourself. You understand what I'm saying? But let's just take it to a different.
Thank you, the Jackie. That's what it was. I did an entire video on that. Paramour. That's like a lover. Your girl, your side chick. Paramour. Thank you. I knew it. I just didn't feel like going back looking for the video. But guys, we're listening to an oldie but a goodie. I told you we're leading up to this. Look, Tim's sentencing is just around the corner. We're reflecting back on all of the shows we've done. We're picking out a few of them to highlight. Okay. Thank you for watching.
Different degree, it might have been something like a little weed. You know what I'm saying? Because weed in there sells 10 times more than what it sells on the street. Okay. And back in that year, it was easy to get things into the correctional center because they would let women come and visit, and they didn't check you. There wasn't, no pat downs. You could go in the visiting room with your purse. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And at that correctional center, Eastern Correctional Center, which we call Pacific, that year that Tim was there, they used to have these games in the room, like Pac-Man, them big old arcade games. And I know people gonna say, "Oh, this is not true," but it is true. I saw it with my own eyes when I went to see my family member. They were actually behind the Pac-Man machine doing the do. So they ain't missing no women there. Women. They came to visit them.
Really? Well.
But now the correctional center done changed all of that. Because now they got, back then they had couches. Women would come into the jail without panties on, with dresses on, and they could sit on their man lap, kiss them and stuff. And I told my cousin, I'm like, for real? He said, "Girl, just quit looking. It ain't none of your business." Well, okay, but that was back then. Now, when you go visit them, they have like a picnic table. I haven't been to Pacific, since the 80s. But when they changed the other correctional centers, like Jefferson City Correctional Center and Mobley, they put in picnic tables where, them little plastic picnic tables with plastic chairs. And when you come in to visit men in the male institution, you sit on one side of the table and he sits on the other. And then there is no contact. There is no tongue kissing or none of that. They changed a lot of rules because when I used to go see my cousin, there was never any signs or you couldn't do this and you couldn't do that. But as the years went on and the HIV was getting so bad, they changed the rules and put up big signs telling you, you can catch HIV, hepatitis C. And I mean, it was so many damn things that you could catch, like TB. I was like, look, because I ain't coming back. And that's the guy on the truth. You understand what I'm saying? And I haven't been back. I just talked on the phone.
Is your family member still there?
One of them is.
Okay. So the person that was really close with Tim that's in there. So this person is still there. Are they there? Did they get a life sentence? I mean, because Tim did 10.5 years and this person is still there.
Yeah, honey. He ain't never coming home.
Oh, really?
He's not never coming home. if they have it their way. But he's going, going through the Innocent Project, and it'll be only by the grace of God that he gets to come home, because they're, doing this DNA, to try to prove that he didn't commit the crime. But that's a whole nother story, because everybody in jail is not guilty. That's the rule.
Yeah. Well, now there are some people that are truly innocent that is locked up, but now there's a lot of people that isn't innocent. So
So and it was something else I wanted to tell you.
I sure do appreciate you and the person. And so when they call me, I mean, the call will be recorded on their end, so it'll only be so much he could tell me. Did Tim? So Tim told that person he would reach back out to him, and he has never contacted him again, right?
No, he hasn't.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, he asked me to call Tim, and at the Mary Grove, um um Sweetie Pies, and I told him I wasn't, because I didn't want to get involved if it was, because a lot of times guys extort other guys that's in jail. You understand what I'm saying? And you think you might be doing something innocent, and you call somebody, and it could be a whole another ball game. You understand what I'm saying? And even though I know him and everything, I have never been that stupid. You know what I'm saying? And especially you calling. This is the phone number. You understand?
So, I understand what you're saying, or whatever, and it was shut down. So evidently, was your friend in that one with him as well, and now they're in a new one that they built or something?
The only one that's shut down that they have rebuilt is Jefferson City Correctional Center, because it was ancient and old, and the wall even fell down up there in Jefferson City. The wall fell down. They rebuilt it out on a U.S. highway, but the correctional center that you showed on your show for Eastern Correctional Center, that is still open, and it ain't shut down no time.
Okay, I think you're talking about the one, right, where I did the episode where I talked about, Tim had a foul restraining order in that, right? Is that the one you're talking about? And I showed the document.
Exactly. Now you showed one correctional center on your show that looked like, because I was like, my husband asked me, honey, you ever seen that? And I'm like, no, that looked like a jail over in East St. Louis. I've never seen them. I mean, not in East St. Louis, but in Illinois, because I've never saw a jail in Missouri like that. I've saw Farmington, Fullerton, okay, not Fullerton, Farmington, Jefferson City, Mobley, Pacific. You understand? Tipton.
The moderators want to ask you a question. They want to know, were Tim and this person lovers?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No. This man is a man. Like I say, he protects people. He no booty bandit.
Okie dokie then. The chat. Vegas, do you have any questions for her?
Yes, I do. Let's go back to the policies that Wally orchestrated with Tim. And with policies, with insurance policies, you have to remember we have two different type of policies. We have a whole life policy, and you have a term life policy, and then you got a universal life policy. It have not yet came out what particular policy that Tim executed on Andre. And you are correct, Miss D, about the fact that he signed this policy with Wally, and of course Andre was underage, but also on the snippets that I gave to Miss Phylly that hopefully she would post, and I taken the core subject of the importance of what I given to her, and hopefully she would post them, and you would see specifically The reason why Tim didn't get granted the money was because he didn't have the documents that the insurance company requested, and that would be the death certificate. That would be the birth certificate. He wasn't Andre's biological father. When you go in and file for an insurance claim, they're going to ask for a death certificate. And he didn't have the proper documentation in order for the insurance company to execute the funding of the policy. And
True.
Wally knew that, and you have to remember, put yourself in Wally's position. Okay, Wally is a what I would call originator. He's an agent. He originate. So by him taking the policy, writing the policy, Wally knew that was fraud in the beginning because Andre normally would have to sign off. He would have to sign, even though now, brother, he was 17, 16, like I said, depending what lie that Tim orchestrated with Wally. But his knowledge, Andre should have had any type of knowledge. He should have knowledge about he had a policy. And the key point that I would say, wouldn't this make common sense to you that if you take out a policy, your nephew is dead, wouldn't you come out to your family and say, oh, by the way, I got a policy on Andre. I can help with the funeral.
Not
I
if
can
you had other objectives to do
correct.
with that policy. No.
That's correct. That's my point. That's my point. My
Okay.
point is to
No.
show the intent. My point was the reason why I said that was to show the intent of Tim orchestration. Okay. So now that he couldn't provide the documents, that's why he could not execute the funding of the policy because he could not come with the documentation. And it's documented. This is not what I'm saying.
And you know,
This is
that's
what's
why I'm
documented.
saying, sir, I don't understand why he got that policy. Because when the insurance agent came to my house, the nurse came to my home, and this was a universal policy. Okay. And
can I chime in with you? Can I chime in with you? See, a universal policy procedures is different from a term life policy, from a whole life policy, and a universal policy. The 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 each policy is unique within itself. So
yes.
that's why. And Tim, think about this: if you're a criminal, you're not for to go. Now, if he had to get DNA, now he know he couldn't pull it off. Now, how would you tell Andre, hey, Andre, I need you to piss in the cup. Or Andre, somebody need to come out and take a swab on your mouth. Andre's smart enough to say, hey, Uncle, why is I'm doing this? Uncle, why you want me to do this? So, of course,
But
he's
you
going
know,
to...
can I ask you a question though?
Mm-hmm,
When you say that term policy, right? Could it
mm-hmm.
be possible that they had another person to try to pose as Andre?
The reason why...
And the reason the weight was different, and you know...
Yes, but let me tell you why I would disagree with that.
Okay.
This is why. In criminals, okay, they call this face-off in white-collar crime. It's called face-off. That means I'm going to take your identity to be Andre. So that means I'm going to take your identity. I'm going to create documents to be you and supposedly be you, regardless of what, however they did what they did, they couldn't actually portray Andre because Wally was smart. He knows. So he's going to take a policy where it's not, and I'm betting that policy was a term policy versus a whole life policy. But we'll see once they go into trial. It's all that stuff going to come out. But I believe it was a term life policy, and he paid enough into it because even when you get a policy that large, it depends. Like I said, depends what policy that you get. That the premium that if you put yourself in Wally's position, Wally gets a percentage. He gets a cut of that policy. He gets a cut of that premium of his commission. So Wally gets a cut of that. So however they worked it out, that Wally gets his cut from writing that policy, the policy got to be active in order for the indemnity form, because you have a rider against each policy that you write. You have what they call a rider against that as an agent. and the agent would have to pay that back. So if the policy go into default, that the commission that the agent gets would have to pay that money back, that commission back. So that's why insurance companies now, like, they don't have to worry about any fraudulent things going on, because they know that policy would have to stay active. Because if that policy is not active, and just say you sign a policy today, 2 months later you get knocked off, and the person think, oh wow, they just signed a $300,000 policy, but the insurance company has a right to investigate that policy, and believe me, they're gonna go do their due diligence before they pay off on that policy.
You know what, sir? I understand that because I'm going through that right now. You know, my baby got killed, and they wouldn't even, you know, pay it, and you know, for a reason, and they claimed because, you know, that he had an autopsy, but my son didn't have no autopsy. You know, he did not have an autopsy. Okay. And they came up with, it was alcohol in his system, and they, you know, and so I know what you're saying about that, and I also understand what you're talking about with the policies, because when I took out our policy, the young lady said, now, please don't, you know, drop these policies, you know, keep them for at least a year. You know,
because what happened is, just by the way, I'm just the reason why I know so much about that. I used to be a financial planner, okay, and I used to write policies, okay, and I'm just sharing that with you, and I'm just saying, I know, trust me, I know exactly how it works and how it goes and all that, okay. I'm just saying, I understand Wally, what he did, how he did it, how he was able to pay it off, but what he was stupid at is that Tim part, again, like you were saying, Tim, he didn't think this whole thing out. It was when he did what he did to Andre, allegedly. Let me make sure I put that disclosure in there, allegedly, right? So that he didn't think it out far enough to know that he have documentations, and depends on how Wally written up the policy. And if he's saying he's his legal guardian, they're gonna want to show, he's gonna have to show the insurance company legal guardianship file paperwork with the court. Because you have to understand,
Vegas, let me stop you guys real quick. So up on the screen, I have from the indictment where they were talking about the insurance documents. So, you know, they started with Americo Life Insurance Company, and at one point on here they said, where is it? They said that Andre was making $100,000 salary a year, and you know, here it is. It said sought a life insurance policy in the amount of $250,000 on his nephew Andre, and they started getting this policy started in October of 2014. Now he was killed in 2016, so he had these policies. You know, he had been planning on this for at least two full years. And here it says that he paid out of his U.S. bank account $156.04 a month. You know, he was paying on the policy, and it's just show you how calculated they were, and they kept trying. And then you come on down here, it says Forrester's life insurance application. This was October the 31st, 2014. James Timothy Norman and Wael Reby Yogman, they call him Wally, caused to be completed and then submitted an application, okay? And they sought a life policy in the amount of $200,000, as well as an accidental death rider in the amount of $200,000, and a 10-year term rider for $50,000. So a total of $450,000. But let me just stop real quick right there, because I have a caller on the phone, and she wanted to say something to the young lady, you know, from St. Louis. Ma'am, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, what was it that you wanted to say to the lady from St. Louis?
But she was on there hollering about Andre's past and this like that. Did she think about the past that Tim had? Andre's past wasn't the worst.
I didn't say anything about Andre's past, ma'am.
No,
I didn't say anything.
You said he wanna think he had done something.
Now let me say this: some of y'all be watching them videos and they be old, and y'all think I'll be live right then and there. And this is what happened on this case, okay?
He wasn't all that. He had done something to it. Regardless of what he
No, ma'am, I didn't say that. You misheard that. I was specifically talking about Tim, ma'am.
Wait, I think, ma'am, I think you may be watching one of my older lives where the lady was saying that we needed to look into Andre's past and see what he did. This is a different live. I am actually live right now, ma'am. You were watching an older video. And you just happen to catch me live. But I know which one you're speaking of. You're talking about the live where the lady came on and challenged me and started saying that, you know, what about Andre? And you don't know what he did. And, you know, she was she was blaming the victim. But this is a different lady. She's not speaking ill of Andre at all. Okay?
All right.
Okay. Thank you for calling.
But back to what he would go ahead back to the what you were showing. But you know what? I hate that, you know, because I did the same thing with you, watching old videos. Okay. And I don't blame her that if she thought that I was blaming the victim, she should have came on and attacked me. But I would never do that under no circumstances. Okay. Because I have been a parent to lose a child. Okay. And, you know, you were talking about yesterday about his mother. You know, I really got a problem with that too, you know, because you know, no, they were saying like you was talking about no one is addressing his mother, okay, but his mother probably is sitting back to wait for the trial so she can get all the information before she says anything.
That's possible. Let me
You know what I'm saying? Okay. And then that way, and then you said another thing too. They were saying that they should have, the young man that came on your show said well he felt that they should have gave Andre's mother something, okay, to take care of her, you know. And I think he sounded like he was about 16, 17. He sounded really young that came on your show. It was a young man on one of your shows that called in and he said, you know, he was a friend of Andre's and he was, you know, that he felt like they should have gave Andre's mother something, you know, okay. And you addressed that. But
before we go any further, guys, we do have another caller and they might want to say something to us. Ma'am, are you there?
I sure am. First, I want to congratulate you in doing such a great job and not forgetting Andre. And I feel real bad for his mother. I too lost a son 6 years ago. So, yes, it's personal. I do believe that Tim Norman did all of this. You know, I think some of the reason in terms of money, not just this in life insurance, he wanted that just as quick cash. But think about it. Andre would have been the next living closest relative.
Right.
He had to get rid of so that Tim could have it all. He could have all of the empire. Now, remember when I don't know if it's a rumor, but it sounds like it could be very true. You know, this man has been calculating. This man has done probably seen more jail time than outside time. You know, and being that he was the only child left, you know, being right ain't always popular. I'd rather be right than popular. Just greedy, and he's just never. I don't know exactly why he went to 10 years before.
Robbery.
But it just made him a better criminal. Robbery.
Okay. Armed robbery.
Oh, yeah.
And assault. Yes, ma'am.
You know, and it's, you know how you just sometimes, and I always can tell all my spiritual people, when the show first came on, I just had a bad feeling about him. And usually when I get bad feelings about people, they do something bad later. You know, I'm not always right, but it just doesn't feel right. You know, I always look at how little kids and animals treat you too. You know, you can just tell when it's sort of like a bad omen or a bad seed. And I felt that way about him and that whole level of bullying. And then when I learned he had done some prison, I said, okay, that hardened him a whole lot. Mm-hmm. But then finding out, you know, Tim, he had that level of control. He just wanted to be, you know, my mother used to always say, God rest her soul, you know, you just can't tell people everything. even though you think that those who are very close to you, because you don't know when that's going to be used against you.
Right.
You know, and I think that one have learned so much from you.
Well, thank you.
And I really have enjoyed it. I like when we get so proactive and that we can. I think the internet and YouTube especially has given us a way of expressing and connecting with us all and how we look at things.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, I used to say I wanted to write a book called Black Tales because nobody has stories like us.
Absolutely right. We do have stories. Well, ma'am,
we have stories. But you go ahead and keep on doing what you're doing. I support you. And we all on the right side, and definitely justice for Andre. You stay blessed, my sis, okay?
Thank you so much for calling, ma'am. I do appreciate it.
All right, Harlem's in the house.
Okay, Harlem. Okay, all right, Harlem in the house. That was Harlem. Wait, we have another caller panel. Hello.
Hey, I'm so happy I got through. I wanted to say something. I'm echoing.
No, you're good.
Okay, this is the thing, and think of it like this. Remember, Tim didn't have a lot of money. He paid for a rap video, he paid Terica, he paid the other guy, and he probably paid off Wally some money. Where did Tim get all this money from if he didn't have a ton of money?
Okay, ma'am, thank you I appreciate your comment.
Okay,
allegedly.
And keep it going because we look at this in Jersey, everywhere, like everybody's watching your show, and I'm just so happy you keeping this going for Andre legacy and for his mom, and you have a good day.
Hey, Jersey, what's up? Thanks for watching.
What's up? Okay, bye-bye.
Jersey Shore. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, Pam. Okay. Wait, Pam, there's one
You
more
had a question.
Who? Okay. Oh, we want go back to the insurance.
You had a
call.
question. You had a question.
I had a question.
The question was, could you please go back to the insurance?
Yes,
I want to tell your callers, I'm gonna tell you, I think that is probably impossible because me being my age, they want, even with term life, they only want to give you like 10,000. If you do good for 2 years, then they want to give you 20,000, you know, but about the highest they're going to give you is 30. The younger a person is to get insurance, the cheaper it is. The older you get, the more it costs. And a lot of people don't know the difference between term, whole life, and universal, because I didn't. You understand what I'm saying? And one of your viewers put in your comment, please go back to the insurance. So could the guy that was speaking about insurance speak on it so people could know how to get those type of things for themselves?
Yes, Vegas, could you please go ahead and elaborate a little bit more because he's very knowledgeable on this. I actually have a whole little segment of him talking about it. Let's go back to the insurance policy, and I think I still have it up here, and talk about it some more. Go ahead, Vegas.
Yeah, another point that you just made, Ms. D, is that you're right, and I'm going to give you a true scenario. Me, I put a policy on, my mother is 90 years old. I put a term life on my mother policy over 20 years ago for $550,000. Because of my mother's age, and at the time I was writing for a company back in the 80s called A.L. Williams life insurance policy. You guys, if anybody ever had an A.L. Williams policy, but now A.L. Williams is now called Prime America. And basically what it happens is Prime America is still around, yes. But Prime America used to be called A.L. Williams life insurance policy. And then Prime America bought A.L. Williams out. Art Williams, his name was Art Williams. He had to resign and step down from the board. But however, the situation is because of my mother's age, and I'm giving you a true scenario right now, because of my mother's age, and she superseded the life policy itself. So what had happened is her premium jumped extremely high. So what happens is when you go into term life, it's like you betting against yourself, right? So that's why it's better, like you're saying, it's better to get you when you're younger, because your life expansion is more greater than if you're older.
And then they base it on your health.
Correct.
Red,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They
They
go by
base
the
it
whole
on your
medical
health.
Raya.
Yes, you got high blood pressure, the whole 9 yards. But the point of it is that like my mom, by her being 90, her policy, she superseded the life of the policy. Her policy dropped, and even right now, I'm just sharing this business right now. But when you get to an age of 85, certain insurance company caps you off, okay, for a certain amount. That's about 25 to 30,000. You're not going to get no 100,000. You're not going to get no 50,000 because they know the odds of that. Okay, so the cheaper thing for me and my family, we just end up buying a burial policy because it end up being cheaper for us to do a burial policy because of my mother's age and to keep paying the premium what we paying in premium costs. So it didn't make any sense to do that.
The
Okay,
reason I
so
asked you to elaborate on that, sir, is
mhm,
because I wasn't knowledgeable about policies. I became knowledgeable after I got sick. You understand what I'm saying?
yes,
And they would only cover me for a certain amount, which was not very much, but it was something that I could leave my children. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
yes,
Okay. And, just being honest, Black people are suspicious, superstitious.
yes,
We don't want to put big policies on our children.
yes,
Okay. So they tried to sell me big policies. I wouldn't take them.
yes,
You understand what I'm
um,
saying?
yes,
And
yes,
so, a lot of people don't know that they have like the policies, and a lot of agents won't tell you about accidental rider on the policy
yeah,
or
right,
double
yeah,
indemnity if a person dies unexpectedly from an accident or unexpected death. You understand what I'm saying?
hmm,
And that's why I asked you to elaborate, because our community don't know a lot of things like that. They don't even know how to invest like in their retirements or even plan for their old age.
yes, because what happens is that when it comes down to us, we never was taught that at a younger age, and that's the difference why we have it so rough as being African American. We don't live for generational money. We don't put up like an investment, understanding that when you get a policy, you want a policy that when you have a younger child, you want to be able to have things that you can leave back for them, to leave them in a position in where they can get an annuity, you know. And it's hard for people to understand that. I'm just using myself as an example. But my son, I'm a single parent. Well, when my son was born, I started investing in saving bonds because my mother started investing in saving bonds in me when I was younger. So my mother worked 3 jobs, and then that's what she used to always do: go down to the bank and get a saving bond. And it's a saving bonds that matures, the triple E's, they mature within, depends on which ones you get. The bond goes by series, so depending what series that you buy. But the point of it is, I did the same thing I learned as a child. I did the same thing with my son. So when my son became 20 years old, well, he was able to have enough money to significantly get himself together to do whatever he chose that he needed to do, prepare himself for college and so on and so forth. But because we don't know enough, and I agree with you 1000%, it's just being able to understand it, just like the trend right now, since we're talking about policies, like African American, we didn't believe in cremation. Okay. And what happened is cremation now is more African Americans starting to do it now. But before, we didn't
But a
believe in
lot
that.
of them are doing it because they don't have policies on their loved
Correct.
ones, and it's cheaper.
Correct. Correct. And
Okay. A
that's
lot
what
of
I'm
them
saying
doing
about
it just because, but now cremation ain't all that cheap either,
correct. They
because so many
jumped up.
people are doing it.
Hold on.
Correct.
Hey, panel, hold up. Let me get in here for a minute. So I have a caller on from Chicago, Chi-Town. Now, what was your question that you wanted to say to the panel, ma'am, and to the audience?
Okay, I just have to be completely honest with you. I did not know that. I just heard this tonight that he had a policy rolled out in 2014.
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
It's up on the screen. Yes, ma'am.
That means that he had this policy out.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's had this policy out, this goes way further than 10, baby.
So you're saying that since he had the policy in 2014, you're thinking that there's.
When did Andre get there? Yes. When did Andre get there?
And that's what I'm not quite sure of, but it had to have been before 2014.
Can she answer that?
No, the lady, she wouldn't know. She doesn't know.
Oh, she doesn't work.
Right. Well, this is okay. She's thinking, this. She's not a former employee.
Okay,
this here is someone else.
I didn't know if she was working with them now. Oh, she's just from St. Louis.
Well, actually,
I wanted to find.
I was gonna say actually she knows someone that was incarcerated with Tim. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. She knows someone that was incarcerated with Tim.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes. And I had called before, and I told you that. I told you that it could be a situation that he's trying to get back to whomever this could go different ways. But from my understanding, 2014, this has something. This goes way further than Tim.
Well, that's what people are saying.
That's just common sense. Did this boy got a background or something from his mom, or what? Why do they hate him so much? From 2014, you're gonna put a policy on somebody who just got there?
Yeah. Can I address that?
1 second. Everyone, money, greed, this, that, and the other. So everyone has their opinion.
This boy wasn't even there that long before you start putting policies on somebody.
I know.
But can I address that, ma'am?
Yes, she's gonna address you. Go ahead, ma'am.
Let's be honest. Most Black families is single family homes, just the mother. And in our families, most children, when they are being raised, are closer to their mother side of the family. Now, Andre came, we knew about Andre when he came on the show. And I think this is why a lot of people are saying that they want Andre's mother, they want to hear from his mother, because even with my kids, when I had my children, my family, they went to all family functions, family reunions, Christmas, and basically their dad took them to his side of the family when my functions were ending.
Okay, listen, someone did some research.
What I'm saying is you said that you have heard about Andre before he even got there.
Listen,
they were talking about him before he even reached to you all.
Andre made
I just was wondering. That's all. I was just wondering. It sounded like it's a little deeper than just him. For 2 years he was down there.
Mm-hmm. Before Tim started getting the policies, and he was killed in 2016. So
2012.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's 4 years.
Yep. Thank you for the super sticker, super chat, Rivka. Yes.
2 years he was. I wonder what made him want to get a policy though. Within the 2 years, what did he do?
He just, ma'am, I feel like he just despised him. He didn't want him to be around. Allegedly, that's just my opinion, my commentary. I've said it so many times. He just. I don't know if he was jealous of him because
I was saying he was talking to himself. He was jealous of him. That's common sense.
Andre was, people said, Andre graduated from high school. Tim didn't. Andre had musical talent. He could play the piano. He could play other things. Like the former employee Angel said, he would make them laugh. His face, he's not even really smiling right now. The picture I have up there, but you could just see he looks like a joyful, kind person. That's just my take on it.
He really was. I really enjoyed Andre on that show.
I gotta go, but that's some hateful stuff. That is really hateful.
Yes, ma'am.
I just can't even believe it. I just can't even stomach it.
Yes,
he's gonna get what he got coming, because everybody in the jail gonna hear about this.
Oh yeah, like I put up before when I first started the show. Where is it? I said, justice, even if it's slow, it's sure.
No nice ride.
Yeah, justice may be a little slow, but it's sure. They killed him in 2014. No, 2016. They didn't get arrested until 2020, but they still got arrested.
Right, and while he incarcerated, he ain't gonna have no nice ride. And the people hearing about what's going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's why Tim ain't talking, because in jail they hate snitches.
But no, they ain't gonna let him. I got too many people I know like that. They ain't gonna let that go like that.
Well, if they hate,
But thank you for calling me.
Okay.
I thank you for answering the phone.
No problem, ma'am. Call again. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. We did have Chef on the phone, but he got cut off. But
I say I'm a mother, and I had a son to get in trouble, and my mom gave us a rule when we were young. You have one time to get in trouble, and I'm not coming but one time. My brothers got in trouble. She got them right out, and they never got in trouble again. When I went and got a ticket and they locked me up for speeding, my mom said, leave her there, teach her a lesson. My brother came and got me. You know what I'm saying? So I learned from my mother with my boys. I gave them the same rule. You get in trouble one time, and after that, I'm not coming. Well, one of them got in trouble a second time, and I kept my word. I did not go. Okay, I made him pay all the lawyer. Okay, I made him pay the fines. They wanted us to write letters about his character. I didn't even write a letter. Okay, I let him talk to the judge. I let his lawyer defend him. And when he got through paying that lawyer, they put him on 2 years paper. And I thank God, because he was going to end up in incarcerated. And he walked his 2 years down, and by the grace of God, it's 15 years. He has not been in trouble again, and he has not, even had any interaction with the police. But Tim was spoiled, and he was jealous. When you get through following this case, because it's going to come, you said, the case is in September, and it's going to go so fast, okay, so very fast. Hopefully that you can start do a show to educate us on things that can help us financially, as particularly the young people, that they can learn to do some type of investment for themselves, because like I said, our people are superstitious, and we just don't believe in putting policies on our babies and our children, or our family members. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And the only reason I got a policy was because my dad always buried everybody in our family that died. And the last person that died in our family, he stood up in church and he said, if you bleep, bleep, bleeps, don't get you some insurance, I'm not burying another one of y'all. and I believed him. You understand?
Everyone needs some insurance. Yes.
But you don't think about things like that. Like the young man was saying, we don't get taught that.
Are you there?
I am. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Where are you calling from?
Georgia.
All right, Georgia. What would you like to say?
I just kind of wanted to chime in on the situation because I had something like that happen to me from my family. I was able to stop the policy, but I was almost murdered. And by the grace of God, I'm still here.
Did you say you were almost murdered?
Yeah, I found the policy that they had on me, and it had matured like 2 years and a few months. And it happened kind of like right after that 2-year mark. So what I'm saying is, don't not think that it's don't think that it's far-fetched that the whole family couldn't have been involved in it, besides the Tim dude.
Wow. So can I ask you who all was involved in yours, or?
The demonic maternal carrier, which some people call their mothers. I've called her that. I've known my mama hated me since I was a child. So, her, my uncles, some of them are pretty well off. Some of them are Masons, some of them are Eastern Stars. And I was always kind of like as they like to call it, the black sheep, I guess. I don't like using that term because I'm definitely not a sheep. So a lot of them were involved. So you never know how, even my cousin who's a preacher, it goes deep. Y'all, it goes real deep. So don't just think, because it has to mature for 2 years.
And he let it mature for 2 years. Yep.
And one of my aunts actually brought against my cousin's policy, and my cousin died shortly after that. Now I'm gonna hit you on a spiritual tip. I don't know how y'all people operate, but this is just something
to look at with life insurance on the spiritual field. That is almost like a death warrant, because you literally are signing up for to be covered for death when you're not even dead yet, and that's like a bounty, like a spiritual bounty on your head when somebody places a policy over you.
What if you get it on yourself?
Even then, there's a lot of spiritual aspects to this, and not just surface. And I had to learn this because that's how I was able to save myself.
Do you have insurance right now?
I do not.
Kizzy, you cute.
I do not. I will not get that again. I had people, I used to be in the military, and she would literally wait. She would always want to know who was on my policy.
What's up, boys?
I'm gonna try to manifest me going to war.
To you no
and
more.
see, when you get killed at war, you get double. The family gets a double pay. So if it was $400,000, you get $800,000. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Ma'am, you said that that's spiritual. Can you tell us where you found that in the Bible?
Well, that's just her belief. We're not gonna get all into the.
Oh, okay, because that's going back to our belief system. Because a lot of us believe that getting those policies are bad luck.
Yeah.
Let
me see what the chat is. Okay, well, thank you for calling. I wonder what the chat feels about that. They say that's ridiculous. Okay. Everything. Okay. Thank you for calling, Atlanta. I think it was Atlanta. Well, hold on, guys. We got to take some calls too. So let's get them in here. I have on the call.
Hello? I'm here. Mm-hmm. I'm here.
Okay. Go ahead, sir. Hold on. 1 minute, ma'am. He was next. Go ahead, sir.
Thanks for having me on your show. You're doing a great job again. This is High-End Security. I just want to add two things real quick. I just believe Tim is a user.
Okay.
He used in so many different ways. So he just saw an opportunity that he thought he can get away with and just use Andre. I don't think he had a jealous streak in him towards Andre. He just felt that he was a good user. That's just my thought.
Well, thank you, High-End Security. Those are his thoughts and his breakdown of it, and only time will tell.
But you know what? Missouri has a death sentence in Missouri.
Hold on 1 second. Wait 1 second, Pamela. Wait 1 second. This lady's been on hold for a second. Go ahead, ma'am.
Yes, Phylly, this is Blue T. I just wanted to tell you that you're doing a great job, and you probably should get a backup channel because you're doing so good. I think they'll shut you down because you're doing really well.
Oh, I have a backup channel if just in case.
Okay, because you hot. You on a roll. Justice for Andre. That's all I called to say.
Okay, thank you so much, Justice for Andre. You are absolutely right. Thank you.
The man that just got off the phone, Missouri has a death penalty here, and we have never had a governor that will not send one there. Okay.
Okay,
and
ma'am, let me stop you. The death penalty was taken off. They cannot get the death penalty.
They can what do they call it? It's something.
No, William.
They're trying to do it now in Chicago for a criminal that killed a policeman.
I love you, St. Louis. Well,
they're trying to reinstate it.
That now, he took that off. It's in the documents. It's been filed in the federal papers where they will not get the death penalty. All they can get is life. These three were 4, but it's Tim. Hold on, let me put the picture up here. Tim, Terica, and Travell. Travell is the shooter. Tim paid him $5,000. He paid Terica $10,000 because she lured Andre outside while Travell. Thank you, boy, stop capping for that thumbnail. Thank you very much. Lied in wait. They will not seek the death penalty. I have the papers. I did an entire show on it. William Barr said he was the attorney general appointed under Donald Trump. These 3 will not be subject to the death penalty. Only, Tim and Travell for sure life, but I don't know.
This story gets worse and worse.
Yeah, there is no death. Okay, who do I have on the phone?
Hi, how you doing?
Hello, yes, ma'am. Where are you calling from?
I am calling from Philly.
Okay, Philly, how you doing? What you got to say?
So one thing, well, two things. I know someone mentioned, you do a great job, by the way.
Thank
I just
you.
recently subscribed. But one thing that I wanted to say is that I know someone mentioned that if Tim is on the previous caller, and certainly everyone is entitled to their opinion. I don't, everyone has their own beliefs. But, we're talking a lot about life insurance policies. Folks, GoFundMe is not the life insurance policy. Get policies, especially in our culture. Leave your family with something. Leave your children with something. Do not have your children in their time of grief trying to scrape up money to bury you. It is not responsible. It is completely selfish, in my opinion. We gotta do better. We gotta do better.
Okay, y'all
make your
heard that.
preparation.
Y'all heard that? I mean, I know people have different opinions on that. I personally don't have a problem with having life insurance. We all got to go one day. Why not make it so when you do go, you can go comfortably and your family, they're already going to be grieving, but to each his own.
And just let go to superstition, because let go to superstitions.
My sister a envelope about 2 years prior to her death. She had every document we needed. She had every instruction we needed of what she wanted. All that we literally had to do was order her flowers and choose her white gown that she specifically told us she wanted to be buried in white. That was all that we had to do. And it was such a relief that we did not have to struggle to bury her. It was a relief. She had even written her own obituary. That's how much she planned.
Wow.
We were able to grieve her in the most healthiest of ways. There was no arguments amongst families. There was no financial, issues where we could not bury her. I'm not saying that it made it easy, but it was such a peace of mind. Give your family a peace of mind.
Absolutely. To each his own. Yes, ma'am. I do understand what you're saying. Not everyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Vegas, do you have any opinion on the life insurance?
Yeah, when we talking about funerals and passing away, like in my family, like for me, I picked out my coffin. I know what casket I'm getting. We own a family plot, so people have to understand how funeral business work. Now, the funeral service is one thing. Now, owning the plots is a whole different another situation. In my family, we own our plots. We already own our plots. We have our own section that where everybody is going to be buried in. Me, myself, I know what coffin. I picked out my coffin, what I want to be, going away in. The thing of it is, when it comes down to African American, it's really hard for us to try to educate something because sometimes people is like reluctant to wanting to understand or learn something new compared what they grew up with or what they know. So it's kind of hard to get someone to visualize, to understand the same way you come in this world, you're going to leave this world. And that's why when they say ashes to ashes, dust to dust, is exactly where your body's going to be. So it's really hard to try to educate people to get them to see things and the only reason why you're going to get them challenges from them because they don't know. And that's just what it is with anything. When you don't know something, you don't know it.
All right, guys. And that was the end of that one. That's a classic. We had about 1,000+ people in the chat that night live. It is what it is. Just know that your girl got it in her. Okay? Don't underestimate PP. All right, guys. Thank you all. Tomorrow we will go over the prosecution's rebuttal to Tim's objection to the the PSR. I think I have it here somewhere. Let me see here. We're not going to go over it. I just want to make sure that I have it. So let me see. There's so many things. I don't know which one is this right here. Let me see which one is this. I don't know if it's going to pick it up. Yeah. So we will go over the United States objection to the defendant's, the United States response to the defendant's objection to the pre-sentence report. Okay, so we're gonna go over their response to Tim's objection to the PSR, the pre-sentence report. The pre-sentence report, again, guys, remember what I told you what it is. It's a collection of all of the crimes and things that you've done over your lifetime that has been compiled into a nice little document, or whatever you want to call it, and presented to the judge. So the judge can use it as he or she decides what sentence they will give you. I think Tim's gonna get life. I think Tim's gonna get life.
Power on. Bluetooth.
Just my opinion.
Bluetooth connected.
But Tim, you are the reason, and I truly believe this, you are the sole reason that Dre is no longer with us. You put a hit out on him. You put a hit out on Dre. Now, that's my opinion, and I can have my opinion. Again, I want to thank all of you for coming in here and hanging out with me as we went over some of our classics. Y'all know we got plenty, honey. We're going to go over some more. I am trying to find a song that I want to play. To end the show. Okay. Tim Norman, this is for you. I think it's going to play.
It's been a long, long time, honey, but I know, yeah. True story. That's a fact, yeah. Fake love, I don't need it, you can keep it, that's a fact, yeah. Fake love, I don't need it, you